And welcome inside the Backstage Pass. It is Hump Day Wednesday, June the 14th. And tomorrow, I guess that's halfway through the month of June. And of course, the year is just about, I guess, half the year's gone. Before you know it, we'll say goodbye to 23 and welcome in 2024. As we're presented by our friends over at Banktail Whiskey and, of course, Honky Tonk Texas. Well, I tell you what, I first heard this self titled EP. She released it April 21st of this year. It's a 6-song EP, fantastic. And it's a self-titled with the name you see there on the screen. Our guest today, Jordana Bryant on the Backstage Pass. Jordana, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
It's been, I'd say, just a hot day. We're talking before the show, and it's just like, sticky, 100 degrees outside. It's just summertime, and it's just not. I just the only bad part about this time of the year, I love summer. It's just so hot.
I know. I feel that. It makes you start wishing for the fall weather.
Yes, it's great that, no doubt, because I'm a runner. I love outdoors, love running and kind of doing stuff outdoors. And just last night about this time, I was actually in the swimming pool for like 3 hours. You couldn't even get
Oh my God.
out. And I took to my daughter to a family member's just birthday party, and we enjoyed that. But like once you get in the pool, you do not want to get out this time of year.
I
Because
know. I know. It's brutal.
well, I tell you what, you're on the same label as our friend Dylan Carmichael, who we had on the show a while back, and you guys play fantastic music. I love your label too. At the same time, just talk about your start, how you got kind of started in this thing called music, and the love for it, growing up singing, things like that, and let people kind of get to know you a little bit that may not.
Yeah, definitely. So I grew up in Pennsylvania, and my dad played guitar a bunch when he was, in high school and college. And so I would just hear him playing around the house, and I started just singing along and making up random, words and melodies. And I think before I even really knew what songwriting was, I just gravitated towards it. And
Mm-hmm.
I really fell in love with, the songwriting process. And as I was probably about 10 or 11, my dad started teaching me how to play guitar, and I feel like that really opened up songwriting for me. And I just fell in love with how you can kind of choose what message you put out into the world as a
Mm-hmm.
songwriter. And I think that's a really special and powerful thing. And it just became my favorite thing to do. And I also very much gravitated towards country music. I had always loved how visual country music is, and how you can kind of close your eyes and picture every lyric, and it's very much a form of storytelling. And so when I started writing songs, I really wanted to tell those stories in my songs, and write those types of songs. And so, most of my childhood was spent just singing and
Mm-hmm.
writing and performing with any chance I had. And then probably when I was about 14, I started posting a few covers on YouTube. And a producer in Nashville, Seth Mosley, saw some of those videos, and he invited me to come down and to meet up with him and record a few songs. And that was really my first time recording in a studio and recording with musicians. And it was such a cool experience. You get to
Mm-hmm.
see the song come to life in such a different way. And then so I really loved that, and I loved getting to meet up with him. Seth is such an amazing songwriter and producer, and just an amazing person. But the pandemic kind of started right after that,
Mm-hmm.
like a few weeks after. So it kind of put a little halt into coming back to Nashville. But I kind of just took that time to start posting some of my original music on Instagram and TikTok. And I really wanted to try to create a community, through music, and to create a place where, everyone could feel like they could express how they were feeling. I would go live every night for an hour or two, and, we would just talk about how we were feeling and play some music. And my goal was really just to hopefully use music to add a little positivity to people's days. And the last few years, I've just been coming back and forth to Nashville a bunch and writing and
Mm-hmm.
recording. And about a year ago, I signed with Riser House, my record
Mm-hmm.
label. And then shortly after, I moved to Nashville, and it's been such a blast getting to be here full time and to put out my first EP. And it's been super fun.
Can imagine too, and like I said, your words really express kind of what you're feeling in a song, and just like you said, making it come to life, spreading that power of positivity to people to make them feel something too through music, and creating something that is so beautiful and so pure. And I want to go back to some singles last year, country music. You guys were able to put that one out too at the same time. Give us a little backstory. We'll start there.
Yeah, so probably April of last year is when I first started putting out some original songs, and it started with a song called "Guilty." That was the first
Mm-hmm.
single that I released, and that one was such a blast. We filmed a music video for it, and then about like a few months after I released New Friends and Country Music and a few other songs. And it was really fun to get to put out Country Music specifically because the kind of theme of that song is I would have liked you if you like country music. And it was a fun way to kind of express my music taste and who I want to be as an artist. A lot of times I think when you border that line of pop country, a lot of people ask what genre you are and and what music you want to put out. So that was kind of a little bit of me saying, hi, I'm Jordana, and I am in fact doing country music, country pop. And it was such a blast to get to put out a handful of singles last year.
I loved another one too that you put out too, and I loved a lot of the. Again, just your vocals are just amazing. And anything that you sing out there too, you really make it come to life too. I'll say that over and over again. It seems to be the theme of the shows they do. You say it, make it come to life. Had to be there. Give us a little backstory of that one, the writing, and kind of who you worked with on that single.
Yeah, so that song I wrote with Zach Kale, Allison Belts, and Seth Mosley, and that one Seth and Zach co-produced, and all three of them are such talented writers. They all have massive hits. Zach wrote on "I Hope" by Gabby Barrett. Seth has a bunch of cuts for King and Country, Blake Shelton, all of those people. And so it's always such a fun process of when you get to be in the room with someone who's written and with people who've written songs that you have grown up listening to. And with that song, I was like, I want to make a song that kind of expresses that feeling of just being in one of those moments where you're like, I can't even describe how cool and special this is. It's just one of those had to be there things. And as we were talking about what those moments were, one of them that we kept coming back to was a concert. A lot of times when you're getting to see one of your favorite artists perform, it's such a special moment and you can't even describe it with words. And so we wrote the song to hopefully be a concert opener, a song that could really start off when you're performing and when I'm performing a live show. And it was really a fun one to get to write and perform.
Well, again, this EP's got something for everybody on it too, and I love it too because "Penniless and Broke" is a top 10 hit to me on country radio from a guy who used to spin the songs on radio for many, many years for several country stations here in Texas. I would automatically grab that and play that in my rotation every chance I got to. Holy, you don't get to too much too soon. Don't know you anymore. I'm going to talk about the music video here in just a little bit. But I got to take my first time out here, and of course, you're going to come back and play a couple of tracks off this new EP here. We're presented by our friends over at Banktail Whiskey, and of course, Honky Tonk Texas. Got a question in there from the audience. We'll get to from our good friend David here in just a little bit. He's actually tuning in from all the way across the pond in England over there. We'll get his question here in just a little bit. It's Jordana Bryant. It is the Backstage Pass, again, powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com and, of course, HighTideCountry.net 3 times a day, 4 times a week on internet radio up there. More with Jordana Bryant. Hang tight here. It is the Backstage Pass. Coming right back.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back here on the show, Jordana Bryant on the Backstage Pass. You can also catch us at HighTideCountry.net and, of course, the SportsGuysPodcast.com. We're doing a Texas two-step today. Brandon Davis coming up here in a little bit at 4:30 on the show. Tomorrow, Renee Blair is going to stop by, another fantastic artist. If you've not heard of Renee Blair, she is blowing smoke up there in Nashville and doing it very well, too, getting bigger and bigger by the day. Friday, a triple header. Call me crazy, but I'm going to do 3 shows on Friday, 1 sports show, and of course 2 music shows after that. Texas Ranger broadcaster CJ Nitkowski, Major League Baseball, MLB Network Radio, fantastic guy, tremendous amount of knowledge. We'll talk baseball, and then back here with Jordana Bryant on the Backstage Pass. So tell you what, if you got that guitar near you, let's have one off this new EP. I love it. Came out April 21st, her self-titled EP, and I guess Penniless and Broke would be a good. How about that one?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. It's all yours.
Yeah, so this is one of the songs on my EP that I just released, and I think when you tell people that you're a musician, they're all pretty quick to say, it's not exactly the most financially stable career. And one day I was thinking about that and thinking how I would still be doing music even if it meant being penniless and broke. And then I thought that would be a cool song title. And what if it was about being in a relationship with someone who you would have loved penniless and broke? That's just, how committed you were to the relationship and to them. So this is kind of what came out of that. You called me up just to call it off. You had something to get off your chest. Some kind of script you were reading off. Couldn't say a word before you said, it's not you, it's me. And I'm only leaving 'cause you're better off if I go. But I don't believe it. That's not the reason, baby. You and I both know I would have loved you penniless and broke. I would have followed you down any road. I would have taken you with all your problems if you wanted to solve them, but you don't. No, you don't. I would have loved you even at your worst. I would have held you even when it hurt. Yeah, you could have had somebody do whatever, someone who's your forever. Now you won't. No, you won't. But I would have loved you. You didn't have it all figured out, but that wasn't scaring me away. And I know we could have worked it out, but you didn't even drive to my place to say, it's not you, it's me. I'm only leaving 'cause you're better off if I go. But I don't believe it. That's not the reason, baby. You and I both know I would have loved you penniless and broke. I would have followed you down any road. I would have taken you with all your problems if you wanted to solve them, but you don't. No, you don't. I would have loved you even at your worst. I would have held you even when it hurt. Yeah, you could have had somebody do whatever, someone who's your forever. Now you won't. No, you won't. But I would have loved you penniless and broke, penniless and broke, penniless and broke. I would have loved you penniless and broke, penniless and broke, penniless and broke. We could have been kissing under these stars, yeah. We could have been giving each other our hearts. You gave it up before you even tried. But we had something money came by, 'cause I would have loved you penniless and broke. I would have followed you down any road. I would have taken you with all your problems. You wanted to solve them, but you don't. No, you don't. I would have loved you even at your worst. I would have held you even when it hurt. Yeah, you could have had somebody do whatever, someone who's your forever. Now you won't. No, you won't. But I would have loved you penniless and broke, penniless and broke, penniless and broke. I would have loved you penniless and broke, penniless and broke, penniless and broke.
I love it because she jams and the music's got some attitude in it. That's what's good about it too. She's got some really cool attitude in her music too. Having a good time out there. Penniless and Broke off the self-titled EP from Jordana Bryant too as well here on the Backstage Pass. Came out April 21st. Make sure you go stream. and keep playing it over and over again. At least I know I did. Like I said, if it's for you, then definitely give us some feedback on it. Leave us some comments there. The comment box, we'll try to get to as many as we can. So I'm going to go across that question in England over there. Our friend David tunes in from time to time, and he asks all these cool things. From Cumbria in England, tell me about the guitar you're using and how important is the guitar to you when you're writing and performing? Always a great question.
I love that question. Yeah, I would say a guitar definitely has a big effect in the songwriting process, and it plays a big part. For me, I think it's this is something that my dad says. I think it's partially true. I think it's partially his way of justifying buying a bunch more guitars. But he says that, each guitar has songs within it that, you're trying to discover and tap into when you're writing on it. And I definitely believe that. I remember, I remember that I wrote Holy on a guitar that I had gotten for my birthday, and it was one of these smart guitars where it has like drum beats and stuff that you can like within the guitar that you can play. And I thought that was so cool, and to me that inspired me to write in a 6/8 beat, which is not something that I write a bunch of, and so I think it definitely has an effect and a part in the songwriting process. And in terms of performing, I kind of switch it up there. It kind of depends on what performance, whether it's full band, whether I'm traveling, in which case I might use a smaller guitar that's easier to take on an airplane. And if it's a bigger show, I do have a bejeweled guitar that sometimes I'll use. But so I think it kind of that I'm more looking at what sound I want for the show. But I think when I'm writing, a lot of times I'll just feel more inspired by a certain sound, depending on the day, and kind of just choose a guitar based on that and choose which guitar to write on during, based on that. And I think it definitely plays a big role in what you come up with when you're writing.
When you look at last year's singles, there's two I want to break down here with you too, because I thought they were different songs, but the same sort of context, but then different in the same sense too. The two I'm talking about, one is Romeo, when it came out too, which I love the feel and the vibe you gave off of that one. And then kind of after the Romeo side of it too, you take almost the complete opposite effect of it and then go into one called Bad Relationships, which is another song that pretty much, tells a story that's out there too. Give us a little backstory on Romeo first, and then we'll get into Bad Relationships.
Yeah, so Romeo was basically a song that I wrote about wanting to be in a relationship with someone, wanting someone who will love and support you, but not someone who feels like they need to kind of save you. And I think it's interesting being in a profession where I'm so focused on my career, where that's the most important thing in my life. And I think sometimes that can, not even just in relationships, but sometimes that can be intimidating for people who, aren't exactly sure what they want to be doing. And I think it's especially at a young age, it's you don't need to know exactly what you're doing. But I think sometimes it's when you are with someone who, kind of doesn't have that same, career driven mindset, sometimes it can be a lot to, and a little intimidating, and they feel, like they need to exert power or whatever. And so I just wanted to write a song about, wanting someone who can love and support you and who you could really be equals with. And it's a little bit too my take on, I grew up listening to Taylor Swift and to Love Story, and it's kind of my take on that and taking it yes, I want that fairy tale type of love, but I also want it in my own way. And, to me, this is what that would look like.
I love it too. Then you go to the complete opposite one too, you mentioned about how Romeo was, and then you go to one called Bad Relationships, which is another one that, again, it expresses that message that we've all gone through in our lifetime, or at least once or twice, that some people, maybe more times here, until finding the right person, but having to go through those almost levels, kind of like climbing stairs, till you find the right person to be with, is how I could describe it. But how did you come up with the concept with the Bad Relationships?
Yeah, that was one that I wrote, and it's very much a thing. I don't think it's as common in the Northeast to end up with your high school sweetheart, but being in Nashville, so many of the people that I'm friends with or that I write with actually married their high school sweetheart. And I thought it was so interesting talking to them. And one of my favorite people to write with, Jonathan Gamble, he and his girlfriend started dating when they were 16 or something, and I was talking to him about that, and he was like, yeah, I mean, a lot of A lot of people, think when you're in high school, you kind of need to date the wrong person to know who the right person is. But sometimes you're lucky enough to meet the right person right away, and you don't need to know, and don't need to experience all those, wrong relationships to know that this is the right person for you. And I thought that was such an interesting perspective. And so I wanted to write a song to kind of express their story and express people's stories who, sometimes you get lucky enough that you just find the right person, and even if it doesn't end up lasting, it's kind of like maybe I don't need to experience all those missteps to find love.
I tell you what, and what's so great about this EP, and that's what I'm saying, you'd really explain the song very well. I love it so much. The fact that you make them really come to life too, and this EP is fantastic. Tell me about we mentioned Dylan Carmichael. Congratulations on getting on to Riser House too as well. Fantastic people over there. I've gotten to know over the past 4 years I've been doing the show here. Just talk about the support, the team, and Riser House, and what it's felt like to have the record deal and those people behind the record deal to support you as team members.
Yeah, it's been so awesome. I think it's really about, when you're trying to pick a team to sign with, it's really about finding the team that feels like that you feel like you connect the best with, and that you feel like is the most passionate about you and will support your vision. And from the first meeting that I had with Riser House, they were just so behind the music that I wanted to make, and their stance is kind of, we will provide you with tools, and we will give you our opinions on which songs we think are the strongest to release, and what direction we think would be a good one to go in. But ultimately it's your decision, and you're the artist, you get to lead, and that's something that really matters to me. And I love the team there because it's a smaller team. It feels just such like a family, and it's been so awesome to just have a team behind you to support you and to encourage you, and to give you the tools to keep to keep going, and to keep hopefully climbing and proving.
You really have, and like I said, a great select group of people who believe that, share the same ideas with you, and kind of stand back, give you the resources to be successful, and go create the best music that you can to put out there to the listeners. That's what it's all about, and what the ear likes. I always say the ear likes what it likes, no doubt about it too. Well, I know you got one more performance for us. We're going to come back and kind of break down a couple of songs off there. Again, it's Jordana Bryant here on the Backstage Pass. The new EP is out there across all the digital platforms. I'm going to get a little backstory on Holy, which I find just to be a fantastic song. And then another one too as well that I think we all need to really focus on from time to time is called Breathe, which we all need to do in life, no matter what we're going through. And that just took me to a loop today because I was worried about something today too. And I turned on that song. I just went, breathe in, breathe out. It's okay. So just let your words do the speaking for me. I was like, you know what? It's in God's hands. It's going to work itself out. Nothing too crazy. Just something I probably should have been worried about in the first place. But we're human. We're human nature. We're going to worry about things. It's just worry about the worst and hope for the best and whatever else. But like I said, I was able to breathe and just calm down. You got some really cool verses in there and really cool. It's just excellent songwriting in that particular song. We'll come back. Word from our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey. If you haven't, guys, check them out. Bangtail.com, easyliquor.com. And, of course, out there, too, drink responsibly. If you're in Nashville at Live Oak, they're out there in the bar. And, of course, Total Wine and Specs. Go check them out. I still got like half a bottle left, too, that we only have cocktails with every now and then and do mixed drinks with. But it's awesome. Bangtail Whiskey, love it. Great friend Brandon Bang does a great job out there. And, of course, honkytonktexas.us for the latest concert series here right here in our backyard. Honky Tonk Texas. Appreciate the support out there. Live music, good food, and just great people out there, too, as well. Coming right back, final segment with Jordana Bryant. Again, the EP's out there across all the digital platforms. Stay tuned. Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
And back here on the show again powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com. Sports show coming up this Friday. CJ Nitkowski going to join us there, MLB Network Radio, talk about the Rangers, talk all things Major League Baseball, getting you ready for the trade deadline, and a whole lot more. And we're just probably, 7-8 weeks now, maybe 10 to kick off for another great football season. We'll have some great football broadcasts, fantasy football, and of course, be doing our high school games here in our area for Cajun Country Radio. .com too as well out there too. And don't forget 4:30 today, Brandon Davis coming up, new EP called Jesus and Jesse James. It came out April 28th. Back here with Jordana Bryant on the show. The new EP is out there, self-titled, across all the digital platforms. Dealer's choice. I could go with Holy. I could go with Breathe. I get you pick.
Let's do Holy. Let's do
all right,
it.
we'll do that. Here we go. It's all yours.
I can get the guitar off the stand. So this is a song called Holy. It's on the project and that I just released. And it might be my favorite one if I had to pick from the project. Just because, it's really special to me. It's about my relationship with God. But I think the cool thing is it can kind of be about your relationship with anyone who really just sees the whole you and loves you no matter what. So this is called Holy. You've seen the train wreck I can be. Yeah, I've heard you before, but you still love me after. It doesn't make much sense to me how you could know what you know, and I think I'm a disaster. How could somebody love what they should be running from and dive with me into the deep end? How could somebody see every last side of me when all I see are broken pieces? You see me holy. You see my every part, every mark, every scar, and oh, you still hold me. And take me with every fault, every flaw. You still want me. You still love me. I see all my demons, the deep secret pieces of me. Do you see me holy, holy, holy? You see me holy. I'm my own worst enemy. I obsess, become a mess over things that don't matter. I see what I'm not. You see what I am. You see how far I've got from where I began. You see me holy. You see my every part, every mark, every scar, and oh, you still hold me. And take me with every fault, every flaw. You still want me. You still love me. I see all my demons, the deep secret pieces of me. Do you see me holy, holy, holy? You see me holy. How could somebody see every last side of me when all I see are broken pieces? You see me holy. You see my every part, every mark, every scar, and oh, you still hold me. And take me with every fault, every flaw. You still want me.
And that song really speaks volumes to everything in life, anything stage you could go through too. That is just a beautiful song. I love that, and just I can't even words. As a journalist here, I look back and I'm like, I'm never shy of words. But that song, you just turn it on and just really, you don't need to have words. It's just spectacular. Put it that way. I love that tune that she has put out there. If I were to give that tune one word, that is spectacular too as well. That is the song that leads it off there for Jordana Bryant on the latest EP that came out there back in April. So Holy kind of sets the tone. Let me ask you about Breathe, because that's been one that a lot of people have asked me to ask you about today, because that is such a fantastic tune too. And I think we all need to hear that particular word every day. Tell us a little bit about how kind of the breathe concept came to you in writing a beautiful song.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of times when we're going through something difficult, we really forget to just take a moment and breathe. And I think that's truly the most important thing. It's just, sometimes it can make such a big difference to just give yourself a second and just, take a moment to center yourself and remind yourself that it's all, going to work itself out. And for me, music is the thing that I always lean on when I'm going through something. And so I wanted to write a song that could hopefully, do the same thing for other people and remind them that, everything's going to be okay and that you just need to breathe and you don't need to have all the answers. You just have to remind yourself that you're going to get through it. And, I really wrote the song both as a reminder for other people, but also as a bit of a reminder for myself. I think, sometimes when you're going at such a fast pace, you can forget to take a second to slow down and breathe and trust that everything's going to be okay. And so I wanted to write a song to, as a reminder of that.
You sure did, and I definitely, I'm gonna have to. That's my go-to song now, especially with when life moves too fast. You got to kind of step back, and I'm trying to be more of a patient dad now with my daughter. She will turn 4 next year, and looking back, it's kind of like it's definitely you have to just breathe. Let them, like Billy Dean said one time. He said, "Let them be little." It was one of the big songs he came with. He was coming up in the '80s, '90s country era. Let them be little. Breathe. You can listen to Jordana's song and realize everything is going to be okay and work out the way it's supposed to too. I got a chance to check this out because a lot of times I don't get to watch a whole lot of them, but the song off the EP, Don't Know You Anymore, you guys had a little bit of fun making a music video with this, and I got to check it out, which I thought was fantastic. Give us a little lowdown on how much fun it was to do this music video.
Yeah, totally. So we had the idea to make a visualizer for every single song on the EP, and kind of our thought process was, okay, we'll do these smaller visualizer videos, and then whichever song or two songs or whatever seems to be doing really well, then maybe we'll make a bigger music video for those. And because we were crunched for time, I was like, well, why don't we just try to do them all in one day? Like, we can do this, guys. We're filming at the same house. We could not do that. But so we filmed Penniless and Broke, and Too Much Too Soon. We filmed those 2 videos in the same day. And then we went back and we filmed Don't Know You Anymore, You Don't Get To, and Holy in the same day. And then on a third day, we filmed Breathe in, in the woods at a park nearby. But Don't Know You Anymore was such a blast to film a video for. It was, kind of the idea that we had was that you're packing up, I had this idea for that you're packing up, these mementos from the relationship, and you're kind of just, thinking to yourself about, being with this person and how much you knew them and how it was like you knew every single little detail about them, and now you're packing up these things and sending them to someone you don't even know anything about anymore. And it was really fun to film because I feel like, you could kind of get really into the emotions of it. The only thing I do remember that was a little struggle in the video was I kept getting splinters. There was like a wood balcony outside, and it was very poorly, I don't know, smoothed over. So anytime I put my hands on that, in the previous video that we'd shot, Holy, I got splinters on my hands, on my
Ouch.
feet, and so in the middle of the video, we took like a 20-minute break to just try to de-splinter me. But other than that, it was such a great day, and it was, it's music videos are probably, one of my favorite parts of the recording and releasing process, because I feel like you get to bring the song to life in a whole other way. And especially with country music, because it's so visual, I think every songwriter kind of has a picture in their head when they're writing the song. And the really cool thing about music videos is you get to actually show that picture, to listeners and viewers.
You bring those songs to life. I love it so much too. And the cool thing, like you said, express it through not just the words and what people hear, but you mentioned there through the music video itself too. And I hope your hands are doing better today from those splinters, not too rough
pleasant nature thing.
to get desplintered there. It comes down to it. Let's kind of dive into a little rapid fire, because I love doing this to close the show too. Favorite hobbies away from music? What does Jordana like to do?
I love baking. I
Okay.
love hiking. I feel like hiking is another great way to just center yourself, and there's something so calming about being in nature, and so that's one of my favorite things to do, to just kind of de-stress and decompress. And I also love playing board games.
Okay. Well, we all need to play those from time to time. I haven't yet gotten back into Monopoly and some of the other ones that are out there too, but I still miss. One of my favorites growing up was actually Candyland. We used to love doing Candyland, just playing that one too, having a good time.
I know, it's so fun.
With family game night and stuff like that too. Yeah, David said, thanks for singing Holy on the guitar for me, Jordana. The song is his favorite. It's a favorite song of yours. You sang it from the heart, sang it perfectly, and made it your own. Well, that's what she does there too, no doubt about it too. Because he was requesting Holy, and boy, she picked it right out of the thin air right there too. At the same time, love that. Let's do this one. When it comes to food or like a pizza toppings or something like that, is there a favorite food for Jordana?
Ooh, good question. My favorite food, I would say either Italian, like pasta, or I do really love sushi.
Okay.
So probably one of those two. And then in terms of pizza toppings, I am very simple. I will just do like margarita or, something like that. Classic.
Just get you, and some people say plain cheese, plain pepperoni, plain meat, plain margarita, plain Hawaiian, whatever it is. Or
basically anything plain.
One thing I tried on pizza a while back, it actually was pretty cool, was the Hawaiian with the pineapple. I wasn't too crazy about just seeing it, but until I tried it, I was like, all right, don't knock it till you try it. So Canadian bacon and pineapple was actually pretty good. So
that sounds great.
Yeah, it gives a sweet, salty kind of flavor there too. Do you remember the first song you ever sang on stage live?
I do. It was a song called Gravity by Sarah Bareilles. It was in Colorado. And we are, family friends with this guy out there who is a ski instructor / musician, and him and his band were playing at this hotel. And I was 8 years old, and they brought me up to sing one song, and that was the only one we all knew. So we played it, and I remember being so nervous beforehand, and then when I started singing, all of that kind of just melted away, and I, just really got lost in the music, and that was definitely a big part of me realizing that this is my passion and that this is, what I want to do with my life.
Well, you picked the right career, no doubt about it too. I love it so much. Let's say Jordana won the lottery, one of the big ones out there right now. I got to get my ticket out there for the Mega Millions / Powerball. What's the first thing you do with the money? Cash option.
That's a great question. Well, I would say first would be definitely donating to a charity. I really, veteran charities are really close to my heart. I have a lot of people in my family who have served, my grandfather, and so there's one charity, Creative Vets, that helps veterans express what they're feeling through songwriting and connects them with songwriters, and that's a charity that I love. But after donating, I would say probably travel the world. I love learning about new cultures and getting to explore, and I just feel like there's so much of the world that I haven't seen and I haven't gotten to learn about, so that would probably be next on the list.
I love that too. That's what I would do, is travel the world and go to Europe and places I've never been, and cut the cell phone off for about a month and just be gone and enjoy it. Where are you at? I'll extend it. but yeah, extended vacation where I'm not going to come back for a couple of months, or at least
Yeah.
that too. Well, I'll tell you what, you're bringing a sound, a flavor, and just a lot of energy and attitude to this EP. I love it so much. It's her self-titled EP. Jordana Bryant out there, and all the songs we've talked about today are available at your listening pleasure for downloading and, of course, purchased out there across those digital platforms, or a subscription based if you have it like I do, so you get to play it as much as you want to, which is still cool. Every click counts. Get those streams up, and definitely these songs are going to be at radio. Cannot wait to see what you guys are working on for the rest of 23 into 24. I enjoyed it so much getting to know you and your style of music and your brand. I can't wait to do this again. Hope you had a great time.
Yes, I had a blast. Thank you so much for having me.
You got it. Jordana Bryant here on the show, coming up here in a little bit. Another future of country music. If you've not heard of him, he is Brandon Davis, coming up here in a little bit. He was on tour with Tim McGraw just a couple of years ago, too. They had a big tour out there with him and Alexandra Kay. We'll talk to Brandon about that and more, what's going on in his world when it comes to music here for 2023. And, of course, tomorrow, Renee Blair. And then Friday, we get a triple header, sports/music shows coming up there on Friday. Again, friend Faith Schuler coming back here on the Backstage Pass, too, as well. Always look forward to having Faith come back here on the program. We'll see you guys at hightidecountry.net this week, and also the sportsguyspodcast.com, presented by Bangtail Whiskey and our friends at Honky Tonk Texas. See you soon. Take care.